Good. My lighting's not good today. I don't have my ring light. But how are you?
I'm great. I have so much to talk to you about today. We've
Let's
had a
go.
lot happening.
Yep.
So I wanted to start with WNBA All-Star.
Yep.
I'm just getting back, and we just got the ratings. Biggest event ever in the history of the WNBA All-Star history. It was absolutely epic, sold out arena. But a couple of things that really stood out. Did you watch the game by any chance? Do you know anything?
I watched like bits and pieces of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know Arike Agumbawale. She played at Notre Dame.
Yep.
And if people have forgotten, she was the player that hit back-to-back game-winning shots in the Final Four. So she hit a shot in the semifinal game. They advanced to the national championship game against UConn, and she hits a shot to win. Or no, I think I might have mixed that up back to back. They beat UConn in the semis, and then they beat, I think it was Mississippi State in the final. And Kobe was sitting right behind me. It was epic. So anyway, that's Arike Agumbawale, that
Okay.
girl, that
hmm
woman.
hmm
Fast forward, she's having a great career. She's a four-time All-Star, and she was scoreless in the first half of the WNBA All-Star game. Hadn't scored a point. She comes out, scores 34 points in the second half. And it's not just like any all-star game, it's like against the US national team, the Olympic
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And so like they're trying to give the Olympic team a tune-up for the Paris Olympics. And so it's like a real game. Like they are going hard. She scores 34 points, most ever in an all-star game, all in one half. And they upset the US national team, which is hard to do. And so I think it was a really epic, exciting weekend. And
Yeah.
I'm just really proud because we continue to showcase these women. It was on prime time on ABC. It peaked at over 4 million viewers. So mom's coming off a high with the All-Star game. It was just exciting, amazing, incredible.
We love it. We love to see
We
it.
we love it. But something crazy happened during the game.
Okay.
I get a text from our my niece-in-law, Whitney, and she says, "Hey, is your house okay? I just noticed that they're evacuating people in your neighborhood and the mountain right behind your house is on fire." And so I'm like,
Oh boy.
well,
Yeah.
I'm out of town and I'm working. And I literally, it was one of the most helpless feelings I've ever had in my life. There's nothing I can do.
hmm
And so our neighborhood got evacuated. And I'm sitting there working the game and I'm trying to stay focused on my job. But I was like, okay, if my house burns down tonight, but like what? And so I had this moment, honey, and I was like, literally this moment of clarity, like, what does she's like, can I run up there and get anything? And I said, the only thing I care about is I have a big box of McKylin's childhood photos.
hmm
And I was like, that's literally the only thing I care about. If you can go rescue that. So she came up here, and they wouldn't let her up the street. And so like it was closed off. She couldn't even get here to rescue anything. So I was just sitting there like, only thing I care about in my whole life, like of all this stuff and crap I have in the house, the only thing that would have really devastated me was to lose your baby pictures and your childhood photos.
Adorable.
So it just kind of brought up this question for me of like, A, what are we doing with all of this stuff in our lives? And B, what do you really care about? Like, what would you be sad about if our house burned down?
Um.
Oh, let me start by saying though, it did not burn down.
Yeah.
I
It
am
didn't burn
sitting
down.
here in the house. It did not burn down,
It didn't burn down.
but it didn't burn down.
House is fine.
I buried the headline. I got home. It was still evacuated when I got home from the All-Star game in Phoenix. And it is still a problem. Like the mountain is still on fire. So the fire department and all the firefighters are staged right across the street from our house in this big park. So
Yeah.
it's kind of still a scary situation, but I've been like gathering up all of our photos, all of our passports, all of our, well, you don't have a passport, birth certificates, all that kind of stuff. That's an inside joke if you haven't heard the podcast before. But I've been gathering up stuff like, if the fire shifts or the wind shifts, like, what am I taking with me? And it really is only like our lives and our family. Like, what do you care about?
My DVD collection. That would be
Oh,
that'd
do
be
I
rough.
do I need to run downstairs? Because is it all downstairs in that big chest?
Just make sure you get those two CD
Binders.
cases, the
Got it.
binders. Those are
I
the
know
most
right where
important
those are.
ones.
Okay, those are in your bedroom. I
Perfect.
know right where they are. So bring all your movies. Okay,
That's
anything else?
hmm.
You have a brand new Harry Potter robe I got you for Christmas. Do you want the Harry Potter? Like,
No, that's
yeah,
I mean, that's you can buy another one of those. The DVD case is mostly because I don't remember all the DVDs that are in there, so the going through it is nice. And I have
there's
I
probably
kid
hundreds.
exactly. There's two full 300, you know, thing binders of them. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean the family photos, obviously. I don't know. See, we moved around a lot when I was younger, and so I have had a very like a Buddhist level of detachment from things because we moved around all the time. Not moved around all the time, but we moved just enough that I don't necessarily. And then we also Airbnb'd out the house. So like, if I had a lot of stuff, it was more of a problem than it was like nice. So I've just recently started kind of like having things again that are just kind of like superfluous. I got very used to like a utilitarian kind of like thing space, because I would like, especially because I'd have to back up the whole house, but like sometimes by myself. So like it would be like, I don't want my room to be a big to do. So I've kind of, I don't really have any things that I'd be like, oh, we got to save the things.
Right. I think so. We lived in the same house until you were 15 years old.
Yeah.
And during that time, I think we accumulated a lot. We had a big house. I bought my old house that I grew up in when my parents retired. So you got to grow up in a really cute, nice, safe neighborhood with a nice house. But we had a lot of stuff because it was my childhood home. You know, I don't know, we just had like Christmas decoration every single holiday, all this stuff. And then we decided to downsize because it was just too much maintenance for the yard and I was traveling too much and it was hard. And so then we went to condos, like thinking we wouldn't have to do yard work. And then
Hmm.
after COVID, when we were stuck in like and it wasn't that small, but let's say maybe a 2,000 or 1,600 square foot townhome for 4 months, and we didn't have any outside space. Then I was like, this is for the birds. We're buying a house with a yard again. So if we're ever stranded at home again for 4 months, we have a yard, we can go outside. So
Yeah.
we've kind of been on a weird little housing journey for a while, but I think you're right. I think because every time you move, you have to cull out stuff and get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I mean the
but
Airbnb in our house like made it. It just didn't make sense to have like a bunch of stuff out. So
right,
I slowly just got used to like getting rid of anything that wasn't easy to like put away. Yeah.
right.
If you have a bunch of stuff, then it's a bunch more chores, and I was lazy. So you know,
Yeah.
I'll attribute it to Buddhism,
Yeah.
but it was laziness.
It was just an interesting feeling of like, okay, in a flash, our whole lives could go up in smoke and our house could be gone. And what will really matter? I think it's an important kind of lesson to pay attention to of like quit accumulating stuff because in that moment, I literally didn't care about anything.
That's a big lesson for you. I mean, we can tell the story about when I had to throw away. I was throwing away dresses in front of you because you decided to sell your house, and then you took the first buy, and they were like, "We want to move in on this day," and it was like the end of the week, and we haven't
And
even started moving.
it was the day after the women's final four. I flew into town
Yeah,
and we packed like crazy people.
yeah. So we both flew into town. We were packing like madmen, and when I say we were packing like madmen, you were trapped in your bedroom with a horde of clothing, as me and Mike were just like carrying out furniture and like running it to the dump or getting rid of it. And oh, where was I going with this? And then yeah, I remember having to, like, we had like a couple hours left. And I was like, Mom, I'm sorry, but is this important or no? He was like, I don't know. And I had to throw it in
Yeah.
the trash.
The only thing is you did throw away the nicest dress I've ever bought, which was a Versace dress.
If you cared
I
that
can't
much,
find it.
okay, first, here's multiple things. A, if it was so nice and it was so important, why didn't you put it somewhere special?
We were hurrying. It just
No,
got
but
lost. It got caught
it
up in the
was so
hurry.
nice. It was so nice. It was so special. Why wasn't it somewhere important?
It was fire. I still mourn that dress. I think I have a cute picture of me in that dress.
Don't mourn the dress. You obviously didn't care about the dress. You didn't protect it. Like
Yeah,
if there was a fire, we'll put it like this: you when there is a fire, you find out what you know that you love, right? You didn't
right,
protect that. I was the fire in that situation. You didn't
right,
protect that dress, so you didn't love the
right,
dress.
right.
All right?
You're right, but I think and then the other thing that kind of got me thinking, there's a new commercial out right now,
Mhm.
and I can't remember the catchline or anything, but it's a kind of a commercial about consumerism. And what
Yeah.
if you had to wear the stuff that you overbuy out in public? And it shows people walking around with like 20 hats on their head, or women carrying 20 purses, or people trailing long lines of clothes behind them. And it's basically calling us out for just keep buying more and more and more and just consume, consume, consume.
Yeah.
And I've thought about, man, if I had to walk around with like currently as we speak, I have 4 full closets full of clothes. And that's a problem. It's embarrassing.
See, I have a small closet, so I think I have too many jackets. I would say I have too many for how many I actually wear. I definitely have too many. But I'm not big on buying clothes. It's I what's the point? Like just get I have been getting better. I've been there was an Amazon deal thing and I got some new shirts. They're nice and they're soft and they're like kind of like oversized shirts and they're like $10. I think bar like when it comes to clothes, I don't understand the overpricedness of it.
Yeah, I've gotten caught up a little bit in the designer stuff. And the more I think about it, the more I'm mad at myself for getting caught up in it. Um, a label on a piece of clothing shouldn't matter. Like that is really, it's hard not to
It
get caught up
doesn't.
in the, like I like carrying around my little, Louis Vuitton fanny pack. But why? It's an interesting part of your psychology. Is it because it
You're
makes you
just
feel better to have
it,
nice things on?
it's what I mean, now I sound like a weird, crazy kook, but you're just taught that these things are important and they're not.
It's true. Like if my life matched my closet, I would be living the most fabulous life. I have an extravagant take. Like I literally have a black coat with feathers all around it. I have sequin. I'm like a raccoon. If it's dramatic and sparkly or feathered, I want it.
Well, what do you wear that for? Like, where are you wearing that to?
That's the problem. I buy it and then it just sits in my closet.
Because, like,
So I have got to do the same thing you're doing. I've read these articles about having a capsule wardrobe where every piece of your wardrobe goes with each other. And so you really only have about a 20-piece wardrobe that you just mix and match everything.
mhm.
Um, and I need to do that. Like my closets are out of control. And
I do.
what I learned this week is that if it had burned down, yes, I would have been sad, or I've been like, oh, I have that one really cool coat that I love or whatever. But at that moment when it was push come to shove, what do you got to say? I didn't care about any of it.
Yeah, yeah. But then and it's probably the most expensive stuff in the house. But the other thing that I think about is then also like the capsule thing or like my system is kind of like a prison system for clothing. It's like a prison
Wait,
uniform. You know what I mean? Like it's like I have one set outfit that I wear so I can go to work. Like and so I'm like, oh, maybe it is good to have. I'm flip flopping. I'm flip flopping because like it sounds like if you don't have something that you feel nice in, and you go out and do nice stuff in it, then what's the point of you got to live your life where you're going and doing fun, extravagant things, but then also it's easier. I don't know. Now I'm lost.
yeah, there's some interesting psychology to it because one of the things that I love to do when we're together is take you shopping. Is
Yeah.
so this has happened for your entire life. There's something I feel better as a mother when you look nice. And that sounds really shallow and I'm sure there's some deep weird psychology to that, but I really like it when you look nice and put together because it makes me feel like I did my job or like and you were pretty distinct. You had a pretty distinct view when you were a kid of what you liked. And we've stuck with that. Like I think I know what you like and what you look good in. So I don't force you to wear stuff you don't like. but I also really like it when you look put together.
I mean, yeah, we if we have any therapist listeners, there's probably something there.
Yeah, like I'm sure it's like it's funny because I think a lot of parents are like this. I was sitting there getting my hair done the other day, and this 20 something girl comes in. She sits down. She's in a chair next to me. She tells the hairdresser, "My mom doesn't like the blonde highlights in my hair. I'm gonna have to go dark again." And she was probably 24, 25, and I was like, if your mom is still making the decisions for you on what your hair should look like at that age, that seems weird. But then I thought about like I definitely
You
tell you
you are
when you
you're literally getting me laser hair removal. So I don't think I'm almost 30.
that's for your acting career, honey. That's for your face.
Say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. That's for you.
Speaking of which, have you gone to your laser hair removal?
It's not till I can look at my calendar. It's sometime in the at the beginning of next month.
Okay. Don't mix it up. Don't mix it up.
Um,
All right, we're getting off track.
yeah.
We're getting off track. Let's circle back. Let's circle back. So anyway, I
Sorry.
guess I just wanted our podcast today to be about what we care about, what we're grateful about, because we've had this scary, really scary scare about maybe losing our home, and I'm hoping it's past. The firefighters are still right out front, so I don't know, but I thought it was a really good moment and lesson to kind of reassess for myself and maybe for you too, of like, what do we care about? What are we kind of building in our lives? And let's stop just filling the house with crap and consumerism and be really intentional about what we have in our lives.
That is very fun. It's like I'm just like, oh, maybe we'll talk. The new Twisters looks pretty good. You're like, what do you care about in life that you would
What
save?
if your whole life went up in flames? What would you care about? I would be sad about my sports paraphernalia. Like
Yeah.
I have some really cool sports paraphernalia.
That two is that
Um,
oh, there's two Emmys?
yeah, I have two Emmys here. This
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark ball. I have my Heisman Trophy ball signed by Caleb Williams, who won it this year. All four contestants. I have a
Nice.
lot of awards. I've won a lot of good awards. But
Yeah.
that's so crazy. You know what? That none of that stuff even crossed my mind.
I
I
hate to
never
say
even
it.
thought about any of that.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, you won the award. You did it. You're already great. It's kind of just like it's nice. It's
Yeah,
nice. Like it's nice. It's great that they gave you that and they recognized you, but the actual trophy itself, it's just nice to have.
yeah.
But
That's
then at the end of the
crazy.
day, what do we actually need? What do we need? What?
Each other. That's it.
Yeah, community. Yeah, yeah. Maybe like some way to make fire
Matches and each other and electricity.
matches. I felt what if we lose electricity? I've been going on a doomsday ever since all this stuff with the presidential stuff. I'm just like I feel like everything's going bad. Just everything's
There is
just
some doomsday feeling right now, and then the fire.
and then
Yeah,
there's the
I
fire
feel
and it's
some
hot.
anxiety. Mm,
It's so hot. I'm like everything is just ugh.
it's hot. Um, yeah, but I think the lesson here and it's just stop pursuing stuff and pursue experiences.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very excited about our experience. Can we share what we have coming up?
But
We're going to the Olympics.
oh yeah.
Are we going to the Olympics?
Yes, we are. I still need to figure out my scheduling stuff. But yes.
Okay.
I will be more excited once I'm there. It's just like making things. I was bitching and moaning about it with a friend the other day, and he's like, "Oh, that's been one of my dreams to go to the Olympics." I'm like, "All right, I have a little bit better perspective."
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's not every day you know people playing in the Olympics,
and
and
it's
we
so
want to
cool.
go. It's so cool. And once we're there, I think it's going to be incredible. It's in Paris. You
Yeah.
have a first class lay down ticket to the Paris Olympics.
Oh,
So
I can't even use that. Okay, so this is a great example of like of things that matter, right? So I'm shooting a pilot that I've co-created. I'm starring in. I'm really pumped about it. But I'm doing it like it's like right when I'm supposed to be going to Paris. And it's tough to be like, oh, Paris is cooler, but that's actually what I want to be doing with my life. It's a lot,
I get that
you know?
because I want you to go to the Olympics with me, so I'm being very selfish. But you've also been like, but we have these 3 days we're shooting. But
I've
I
spent 6 months and like scheduling and like hours, and then I've gotten other people to help me do 6 months of scheduling, and like this guy has written this whole script, and like and then I've helped write the script, and then we had to do casting sessions where these people all like gave up an afternoon on a Sunday so that we could spend 3 hours listening and read the stupid things that we wrote for them to do. So it's a lot. So we'll keep it. We'll keep, and then it's also like a pipe dream of like I've been living in New York. I'm making a TV show in New York City. Dreams. I have an infrastructure of friends to do it with, and it's like I gotta go to Paris. Champagne problems. This is the best possible problem to have.
it is a Champagne problem because I was going to take you to Champagne. We'll take the train out. It's about an hour and a half train ride out of Paris to go to the Champagne region.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we it really is a Champagne problem because we will be going to Champagne.
And then I'm stressed because I booked a commercial that same weekend, and then this weekend I gotta go to LA because my beautiful, wonderful, amazing, talented girlfriend's playing in the Hollywood Bowl. Oh God! What? Well, what about my bartending job? Ah! That's been my place the past couple of days.
Oh my gosh.
But
Well,
I am excited. I am excited. I hope. I mean, if I get any hate for people being, I wish I could go in my life. I'll take your ticket. I do. I do really see the luck that I have.
yeah, I was just going to say you might be getting some hate from all of our sports fans that would die to go to the Olympics.
I'm dying to go too. It's just it's like
The
it's
confluence of
it's the
events.
confluence of events. It's not one's better than the other in any way. It's more of just like, oh, why is everything
Yeah.
happening all at once?
Yes. I hear you, sweetheart. I hear you,
But hey,
sweetheart.
it's a good thing.
Well, I had a lot of people in Phoenix at the WNBA All-Star Game tell me they listen to the podcast and
Oh yeah,
they love it.
nice.
So I feel like we got to give a shout out to our fans who are listening because we kind of just started this as a fun way for I don't think there's a lot of podcasts out there for parents and children, especially adult children, of like how do you navigate your lives together? How do you guys move through the world together? So I love it because we're getting a lot of good feedback. So thank you for listening.
I'm
We
glad people
appreciate
like
it.
it.
We appreciate it. Um, and we didn't do the chaos theory today, but
Well, are you wrapping up? Is this a wrap up?
I don't know. Do we have time for a
Are you
chaos
wrap?
theory?
I mean, are you busy? I'm not doing anything.
No. Okay. Okay. What's your chaos theory? I'm
I've,
gonna write
I've,
mine down right now.
like I said, I've been sick, so I've kind of like, I'm trying to just rest before I have to travel,
Right.
and so, I just got, except for, okay, well, we're not even really doing chaos theory, but I'll just pick one. So this is one of mine. Right now,
Oh, best summer movies.
best
Best
summer
summer
movies.
movies.
And then the other ones are
Oh,
really one, but
okay. Best summer movies. By the way,
yeah,
I met Martin Lawrence this week.
I was gonna ask you about that.
So I went to a party for the
Why?
WNBA.
Okay, how did you not call me and let me meet him as well? I'm being
Because
purely selfish.
okay, I'm serious about this. I have had people do that with me. And sometimes I'm in the mood for it where they're like, "Oh, hi, could you say hello to my mom? She's on the phone," or whatever. And sometimes I'm really nice about it, and it's like, "Of course, that's no problem." And then sometimes I'm like, "Okay, this is a little weird because they're like at home, and then they get this random call, and you're all excited, and they don't know what the call's about." So I chose not to do that, but I did get my picture taken with him. So the funny side of this story was 20 plus years ago, uh, at the height of the Lawrence show, Martin
Martin.
Lawrence had the Martin show, sorry, which by the way, I watched religiously. That was one of my favorite shows to this day, still love it. And he had Don Staley, Rebecca Lobo, like some of the WNBA players on the show. And so it was the first time Rebecca Lobo had seen Martin Lawrence since they taped that show. And so they had just like this cool reunion. They were so excited to see each other. So
Yeah.
it was really cool. And he was so nice. Like he could not have been nicer. And so I gushed over him for sure. And I was just like, you were a big piece of my life and watched your show religiously. And I just appreciate everything you've done. So I got that.
My son's also an actor. He loves your stuff.
I, I, I
Left
didn't
me
say
out.
that.
You left me out.
I didn't say that.
I talked
I
about
left out.
Bad Boys on this podcast for an hour.
I know. I know. I know.
I loved that movie.
I know. You've loved every Bad Boys movie. You have absolutely loved every Bad Boys movie.
I watch all four of them almost every year. I watched the fourth one like 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't stop talking about it to the point where I was annoyed. So
Maybe
this
maybe
it's
maybe
clearly
it will
is
be another time.
this clearly isn't about me.
So I would
No,
say
but
Bad
that
Boys,
is super cool.
but I bring it up because I do think Bad Boys is probably up there in the best summer movies.
The new one is definitely. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely one of the best. Me and Doc saw a movie that I think you would love, called "Fly Me to the Moon." Yeah. It's Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum when they like fly to the moon. They're trying to work on Apollo 11 or so. You'll love it. It's right up your alley. It's like set in the 60s. It's got nice
Honey,
outfits.
you don't have to sell me. You said
No,
Channing Tatum. I'm all in.
yeah,
Hello.
Channing Tatum set in the 60s. He's wearing mock turtlenecks. It's over.
Oh,
But so I was thinking about this because me and Doc were watching, because the new Twisters is coming out. Shout out Anthony Ramos, and we watched the old one, and I was thinking about like they're just, and it's a multi-tiered thought. First thought is like the movies just in like the summer movies should just be so good, like so like the OG Bad Boys, even though this new Bad Boys was really great, but like the OG Bad Boys was great. Twisters, like Backdraft, all these movies that were just like so cool and kinetic and they had all this life. Heat, you know?
I'm so
And
sorry. I have like the dry. It's
there's a
smoky
cough.
here. I'm so sorry.
There's a cough going around.
There's a cough going around. Yeah, I feel like the first time the movie comes out, like let's take Twister for example. It's the first, and so of
Yeah.
course it's going to be the best because you've not seen that genre before. Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton,
Yep. Yep.
just
RIP.
absolutely two of our favorite actors. Anyway, we love him,
Oh, and Philip Seymour
and
Hoffman
oh
is in that movie.
yes,
Love
oh
that
love
guy.
him too.
Yeah.
So just and the special effects in that movie, I think the whole thing was really cool. Plus, I also think we have a fascination as humans about tornadoes and like real life events like that.
Yeah. Just crazy
I
stuff
I have
happening.
been we
A
had a
fire.
tornado when you were a kid here that scared us greatly. And then I have been in a few tornadoes in Oklahoma City during college softball.
Hmm.
And it's really scary. Like I have been hunkered down in the basement of our hotel. Fun fact, I was hunkered down with Jenny Finch one time for like 10 hours. And then one time with Mark Harmon of the CIS fame, NCIS fame.
NCIS. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he was stuck with us down in the basement for a long time. So we kind of had a fun group of people that we were hunkered down with. But
Awesome.
so Twister, yeah, I'm excited for the new Twister.
I'm trying to
I'm
go see it
excited.
tonight. I'll give you a report. I'll report back to you.
Okay.
That should be
And then
good.
other good summer movies, I would say all the Men in Blacks were usually summer movies, were they not?
Yeah, those are good.
I remember
Well,
the first time I took you to
last
see
one's
the
bad.
the first Men in Black that you ever saw. Do you remember where you saw it the first time?
I was like
Think
three.
it through. Think it through.
Was it that theater in Provo that had the purple, whatever it was like a purple circle?
It was a drive-in.
It was a drive-in?
Yep. We saw Men in Black at a drive-in, like laid out on a blanket, listening through the speaker of your car.
Oh, well, I used to love that's one thing I need to find out if there's any drive-ins near New York. I used to when I got my car, it's like sounds so like like not podunk, but like country now. Like so like especially living in the city for so long where nobody has a car. But I remember going like during the summer when I first got my car, I would take dates. I would take dates to go see like movies at the drive-in. We would get groups of friends and we would all go over to the drive-in. And it was like the perfect like weekend activity because there'd be two movies. There's a big break in between both of them. So you don't really, and like you can just sit and like the movie's not good. You're sitting in the car with snacks with all your friends. The movie's great. You guys are watching a great movie. It was like the perfect setup. I miss that's I do have some nostalgia for the old. And then we would play a game where we would like, you're sitting, you're watching your movie. Your movie's not that good. You're not enjoying it that much. So you kind of like find another screen that you can see. And then if it's close enough where you can see their mouths, you try to like act out the scenes while the movie's happening. So you get your friend, like whoever you're with, and you just pick a character, give everybody a character, and then anytime that person's on like physically on screen, you have to like say their words for them. It was so much fun. I miss that. That's an unlocked memory that we just had up there.
Yeah. So the other thing I remember we used to do in the summertime a lot, and okay, so I'm not proud of this and I'm not endorsing this or telling people they should do this. I'm just saying, as a young mother, when you were little growing up, probably until you were about 10 or 12, we were very poor. Like, I was scrabbling to make, follow my dream. And wasn't making that much money at ESPN. But I was dead set on making it my career work at ESPN. So I wasn't giving up on it, even though I wasn't getting paid a lot. And so we were poor. So we would pay and go to a movie. And then we would just walk to the next movie and go see another movie.
Oh yeah.
And walk to another movie and go see another movie.
Spend an
So
afternoon in the theater.
we were movie hoppers. I'm not proud of it. It was probably dishonest and not good, but we've spent a lot of money at those theaters through the years. So I feel like over time we made it back up.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, I pay a monthly subscription to AMC, so I think we've paid our penance. And I see a lot of movies, At least one. I try to do one a week. It gets tough though. Life is it's hard to see a movie once a week.
It's a lot. I can't even remember the last time I went to a movie theater, to be honest. Maybe Christmas when you were here. Did we go to a movie?
Did we go to a movie? Oh no. Last movie was Barbie, I think.
Barbie, yes.
So that's the show that I'm going to this weekend. Is Doc is playing they're doing like a live orchestra with Barbie. Like while the Barbie movie plays.
So they're doing the Barbie soundtrack live to the movie. I've been investigating. I'm a little sad I didn't get invited to go to it, but I understand. But it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Are you gonna wear pink and do your Ken outfit?
I probably should wear this, and then I have like a spray on like hair thing that I can do for frosted tips. So I could just frost my tips, not permanently, for the event. Get the Kenergy.
I think you should check with your girlfriend because she probably doesn't want to be embarrassed by you. I don't know that she would be, but just clear everything with her.
See, I think
her big moment.
From having a parent who has embarrassed me willingly and regularly. No, unoffensively. I think it's fun. What?
Okay, finish your statement and then we'll circle back to that.
I think you don't think you've ever embarrassed me. We've talked about this on the podcast.
I mean, I tell embarrassing stories about you.
Where there it is.
There it is. But I've never shown up somewhere and you're like embarrassed to be seen with me because I have a ridiculous outfit on or something.
I honestly think that, well, I mean, that's fine. Either way, there's embarrassment. I think being embarrassed is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So as the product of that relationship, I think I have a duty to pass that on. It's a love language.
I do think being silly and embarrassing is our love language because I'd rather be funny and do something funny and silly than be normal every time.
I don't know if I can tell the story and we can cut it out if we need to. We'll give that's just a little hint. But there was a time where when I was in acting school, I think we just graduated and we all went out to dinner. And this isn't embarrassing, but this is right down the perfect alley.
Oh, I know exactly
where to dinner with all these New York friends, and it was at a very rocky time in our life. I was living out here. You were doing chemo. You had shaved your head. but you were still wearing wigs, and I didn't really. I don't think I even really told anybody about it, but I think it might have been in the news, so people might have known. I don't know. But so we're sitting at dinner and we're all chatting, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden in the middle of a conversation, you just ripped your wig off and just kept talking, and we were all just like, "What?" It was awesome. I think that's we got
That was probably an embarrassing moment for you. Like, what is my
right.
mom doing right now? I can't
But it's
remember
also
why
not
I did it.
embarrassing.
I don't remember. I think something was happening. Like, it was all your friends from acting school. Everybody was drinking, and I think somebody was like, "Yeah," and didn't a lady rip off her
Oh,
shirt?
that one, the weird lady. Yeah, she like did a
She lifted up her
fake
shirt and
flash. Yeah,
like took her shirt off or had a bra on or something. And I was, and in, I don't even know why in my brain I'm like, I could top that.
yeah,
And
and then you're
I ripped my wig off and like threw it around like a rodeo hat.
exactly.
But why would I do that? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
But
I
why?
probably have done some embarrassing things in your
But
life.
why not? I think I honestly, I was as life goes on and I get older. I was talking about this with a client today. It's like why worry about like be a little embarrassed, do something stupid. Like you're not. There's nothing. What are we saving? I mean, don't embarrass yourself in a bad way where like you poop your pants in front of the vice president or something. Um, but like you know, that's not a dig. You didn't do that. I was just like thinking of the most embarrassing thing possible.
Did you see the panic in my eyes? Because I was thinking back and I'm like, have I done that? That does sound like something I would do. Go
I
ahead.
oh, random tangent. This will be the second time that you've met a current vice president and then they've become the president. If Kamala ends up being the nominee and everything and wins, this will be the second time in a row, which is not that many, but is weird.
So yeah, we got to meet Vice President Joe Biden at a cancer event that I was doing. You got to meet him too.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he gave a speech.
Great speech.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into politics because people get
No.
weird about it, but I grew up as a Republican. I really was a Republican supporter. They've become a little wacky. So I have gone with the person now instead of the party. Anyway, so I didn't really know much about Joe Biden. I wouldn't have said I was a supporter of his at all. And then I met him at this cancer event. I met him before and interviewed him when he came to one of our Delaware games because he was a Delaware fan and Elena Deladon. So I've met him a few times, but anyway, he was so awesome at this cancer event. He gave a speech that was just brilliant and his passion and his energy. And he was a really, really nice man. And I was impressed with him. Did you leave there feeling impressed with Joe Biden?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, and then big surprise. A few years later, he turns into the president, and so we had our pictures with Joe Biden when he was vice president. So I just got to meet Kamala Harris. She hosted a big event for women in sports at the vice president's residence, um, commemorating 50 years of the Women's Sports Foundation. Billie Jean King started the Sports Foundation 50 years ago. They've done incredible stuff in the women's sports space. And Kamala Harris invited about 150 of the top women. It was like conference commissioners, athletic directors, sports stars, commentators. Like it was the who's who of women in sports. And we got to go to the vice president's house. And she gave this cool speech. She kind of looked around the room and she was, because all other vice presidents have been men, obviously. And she looked around the room and she's like, this house ain't seen nothing like this before, something crazy like that. And we were just laughing like there probably haven't been many gatherings for women in the vice president's residence. So we felt really special that we got to get invited there. And I don't know much about her. I haven't really dug in a lot of her politics. I just really enjoyed meeting her. She's kind of a kick-ass lady. And so I'm excited to see how everything goes because she seemed awesome.
Yeah. We'll see. We will see. But
There
yeah,
we go.
that would be
All
weird.
things are new.
It's happened twice.
There we go.
I forgot what we were talking about before that, but yeah. Oh,
Movies.
but embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, why be what unless it's something bad, obviously, like, oh my, but even then, like I've ripped my pants at parties and I'm not embarrassed. I think they, I think there's you gotta have a little bit of joy in like those moments, it's funny.
I think the most important thing you should do is just be yourself,
Yeah.
right? Like I've definitely done things that I've been embarrassed by. I've said things on TV that didn't quite come out right that have been embarrassing or fallen down or, like I think I'm a nerd and a geek, and I definitely do silly things because I'm just kind of a dorky person. But
Yeah.
I think if you're just yourself, you don't really get embarrassed by it because you're just like, yeah, that's something I would do.
I think being embarrassed is just too much tied to other people's shit. Like or other. Sorry, being embarrassed is tied to too. I'm recovering from being sick. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Potty mouth today.
I was not expecting to do a podcast today, but what was I gonna say? That's that. But you're worried too much about other people's like thought about you, and you're caring too much about their opinion, and like they don't. They don't really like you should never hurt anybody and be rude to anybody on purpose, but their opinion of you doesn't really matter unless they like are a close family friend or like it affects you directly. Like a random person just being like, "Oh, you look kind of stupid," doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, it's
I,
fine.
I agree because if people really care about you and love you, anything you do,
They'll like it.
they they'll like it or they'll be like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. So
Or
like,
yeah,
yeah, they'll be there for you and support you. So yeah,
yeah.
that
Be a dork dummy. I think that's the best way to live life.
yeah. All right, so I feel like today's podcast, just to sum it up, we have hit the best summer movies.
Yep.
You're gonna go see Twister. Get back to me on
Yep.
how that is. I'd like to know. I do have one, just our last wrap up funny story about Twister. So this was really only about 3 years ago. I was working the SEC softball tournament in College Station, Texas. And Texas A&M had just opened up this big brand new sports facility, big new softball stadium, and we were staying in this new really swanky nice hotel, and a tornado comes. And
Mm.
when I say a tornado comes, I see the tornado out of my hotel room. It touches down in College Station. We're all freaking out, and so I go to the bathroom. I drag a mattress into the bathroom. I'm sitting in the bathroom, and I text you, and I'm like, "Hey, honey, I love you. I'm not trying to freak you out. I just want you to know there's a tornado. Here's where I am. If anything happens, just like kind of last words, maybe. Who knows?" And your response to me, do you remember your response to me?
I do not.
I'm like sending out this heartfelt moment about this could be the end. Tornadoes right here. Love you, honey. You mean so much to me. Here's where I'm at if there's any emergency. And your response to me is, watch out for flying cows. Love you.
I really said that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So
That's
explain
a
the quote.
That's a pretty. If you don't know by now, there's a flying cow in Twisters, but or in Twister, whatever it's called. But I think that's a great line. I think you would have died. You would have died happy.
I got a chuckle from it. And then I was like, I don't think he understands. I really am in the middle of a
I
tornado that's touched down outside of my hotel room window.
No, that you did not explain that clearly. You texted me today. Okay, let's get into this. You so when you get busy, we both do this. We just kind of radio silence. So I was like, oh, she hasn't really talked to me since the podcast. Is she like mad? What's going on? And then I started posting about the All-Star Weekend. I was like, ah, she's busy. You sent me one picture of you and Martin Lawrence and then didn't respond. I was like, what? Tell me everything. I was like, okay, fine. So I texted you on Sunday. No, yeah, I texted you on Sunday and I was like, are you alive? What's going on? And then you just said, oh, I'm stressed. Trapped in the Phoenix airport for 15 hours. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And you're like, yeah, and there's a fire by the house. The house might burn down. And then I was like, what? What the heck? What the F? And then no response.
It's been a hectic couple of days.
So all I'm saying is sometimes if you're going to text somebody your final words, context. Context is important. This is like a running theme. I don't like texting. I will text people that I need to text or when there's something important to text about. I'm not a huge like, what you doing? How's your day going? I text Doc that way. That's about it. She's the only one that gets that. And you sometimes. But I'm not trying to like be like, hey, how you doing? What's going on with your day? Like I'll call you or I'll text you like, hey, are you doing good? You're doing good? Okay, cool. I just think it's better. It's healthier. And I send memes to everybody. That's my love language. there has been so many times in our life. We had a whole situation where somebody was texting us all this crazy stuff, taking pictures of waterfall, and they were like, "Well, nobody invites me to stuff anymore. This is ridiculous." And I didn't understand the situation, and I promptly responded, "You know what? You should jump. I'll jump too. Nobody invites me to anything anyways." And immediately get calls and texts like, "Hey, no, this is serious.
This
We don't
person might be thinking about jumping into a waterfall, and you just
we
told
do
them to go for it.
yeah, we don't know where they are." And I was just like, honestly, if I'm just a conduit for the universe to inspire.
So long story short, don't text famous last words to McKylin because he'll probably make it a joke.
I will make it a joke. At least
So
say these
watch
are,
out for flying cows. Watch out for flying cows.
there's gotta be context. Okay, watch out for flying cows. Well, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I screenshotted that text because I was like, this is so funny, but it's only funny because I didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been bad. Wait,
That would have been bad if
do you
you're at the
have it?
funeral.
Do you have it
Yeah,
right there? Let me see it.
let me I'll find it. I'll find it.
I
Keep
re
talking. Give me a
I
second.
I mean, I honestly, we can tell Robbie you can end it at that last little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Give us a
This
quick out. Okay. So here's our wrap up. We've been a
oh,
little all over the place today, but here's our wrap up. Number one.
I think that don't get hit by flying cows. I think that's perfect. We'll end it there.
But oh,
What more of a wrap up do we need?
if your house is burning down or you're about to die in a tornado, just really worry about the things you really do care about.
And don't
That's
text me. Call for help.
all right, darling. Call your
I'm
mom.
kidding. Call your mom.
Love you.
But always,
Bye.
I mean, mom always call me. I love you.
I love you. All right, I'm searching.
But everything's
Oh
good.
my God. Uh, This is hysterical. I have it right here. I screenshotted this all these years ago because it was so hysterical. Can you read it? I'm gonna read it to you.
I know. I'm reading
So,
it.
don't panic, but I'm in a tornado warning. Taking shelter in the bathroom in room blank at blank hotel in Bryan, Texas. We'll keep you posted. Just want you to have my location in case anything goes wrong. Love you more than anything. And here's what you texted. Can you read it out loud?
Love you. Be safe. Remember what Twister taught us. Tie yourself to a pole, and cows fly sometimes. That's a great. Okay, Robbie, cut this into the podcast. We'll take out the little bit where we couldn't figure out if we were ending. That's a great final words text. I love
So
you.
I
Be
think
safe. It's telling you how much I care. It's showing that I want you to be safe and like to take care of yourself, and then adding a little levity because I don't want you to be too scared. That's a pretty love it. You know what? Text me anytime you have a problem. Anytime. I'm great. That's great stuff.
uh well, my darling, I love you.
I love you too. See, that's
And
that's the perfect ending right there.